Urban legends are often thrilling stories, which contain many folkloric elements, and so they often spread quickly through a community or society. The tales are told dramatically, as though they were true stories that related to real people, although they may in fact be 100% fabricated. Local touches are often added to the legend, but strangely enough, you will often hear the exact same story in different versions throughout the world. Urban legends often carry a warning or have some significance that motivates the community to preserve and propagate them. The only sure thing is that some of these creepy urban legends have been the cause of many a sleepless night. Here are 5 of the creepiest urban. Discoveryland presents 5 creepiest urban legends from around the world. So, let's start. Number 5, Zanfretta's alien abduction. Fortunato Zanfretta's abduction story has become one of the most famous urban legends in Italy over the last few decades. According to his own accounts, originally made while under hypnosis, Zanfretta was abducted by aliens called Dragos from the planet Teutonia, and experienced repeated abductions by the same group over a period of several years, 1978 to 1981. As frightening or creepy as this case might sound, it seems like we can paint a more optimistic picture of the intentions of these visitors when we consider the words of Zanfretta during one hypnosis section. "I know you are trying to come more frequently. No, you can't come to Earth. People get scared if they look at you. You can't make friendship. Please, go." Zanfretta has probably given more details about his alien abduction than any other person in history. His detailed accounts may cause even the most vehement skeptic to pause for thought. To this day, the Zanfretta case remains one of the most curious and fascinating X-Files around the world. Number 4, the Black Volga. A black Volga automobile was supposedly spotted frequently in the streets of Warsaw back in the 1960s, packed with kidnappers who were bent on snatching children. According to the legend, and helped along by Western propaganda, no doubt, high-ranking Soviet officials drove the Black Volga in Moscow during the mid-1930s, kidnapping young, pretty girls for the sexual pleasure of the highest-ranking Soviet comrades. Another version of this legend tells us that vampires, mysterious priests, Satanists, body vendors, and even Satan himself drove the Black Volga car. According to different versions, children were kidnapped with the intention of using their blood as a cure for rich leukemia sufferers around the world. Of course, none of these versions were ever found to be true. Number 3, the Greek soldier. This lesser-known legend tells us of a Greek soldier who, after World War II, was returning home to marry his fiancée. Unfortunately for him, he was captured by fellow Greeks who had hostile political beliefs, tortured for 5 weeks, and finally eventually murdered. In the early 1950s, mainly in North and Central Greece, there were stories about the very attractive Greek soldier in uniform, who appeared and disappeared overnight, seducing beautiful widows and virgin girls with the sole purpose of impregnating them. 5 weeks after the babies were born, the man would disappear for good, leaving a letter on the table, explaining that he had returned from the dead merely to spread his seed, so that his sons might avenge his. Number 2, Elisa Day. In medieval Europe, there apparently lived a young woman named Elisa Day, whose beauty was like that of the wild roses that grew down the river, all bloody and red. One day, a young man came into town, and instantly fell in love with Elisa. They dated for 3 days. On the first day, he visited her at her house. On the second, he brought her a single red rose and asked her to meet him where the wild roses grow. On the third day, he took her down to the river, where he killed her. The horrible man supposedly waited till her back was turned, then took a rock in his fist, whispering, "All beauty must die," and with one swift blow, he killed her instantly. He placed a rose between her teeth, and slid her body into the river. Some people claim to have seen her ghost wandering the riverside, blood running down the side of her head, a single rose in her. And now the final one, but don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to Discoveryland. Number 1, the well to hell. Sometime in 1989, Russian scientists in Siberia drilled a borehole some 14.5 kilometers deep into the Earth's crust. The drill broke through into a cavity, and the scientists lowered some equipment to see what was down there. The temperature was more than 1,000 degrees Celsius, but the real shocker was the sound, recorded by their instruments. They only captured about 17 horrifying seconds of audio before the microphone melted. Convinced that they'd heard the screams of the damned in hell, many of the scientists quit the job immediately, or so at least the story goes. Those who stayed were in for an even bigger shock later that night. A plume of luminous gas burst out of the borehole, the shape of a gigantic winged demon unfolded, and the words "I have conquered" in Russian were seared into the flames. Even though today it is considered to be a hoax, there are many who believe that this incident really happened. The well-to-hell urban legend remains alive to this day.